I start whispering this to you, I need you to do something for me. Just listen. Not to me, not yet. To the room you're sitting in. To what isn't making sound right now. Silence isn't empty, it's a sign. A warning. And the creature I'm about to tell you about, he studies silence the way a hunter studies tracks in fresh snow. So take a breath, slow, soft. Make it small. Because what hunted me listens for breath. My name is Aaron. I'm 40 years old. And for most of my life, winter was my home, the wilderness, the hush, the stillness. Before last year, I thought the cold was honest. A killer, yeah, but predictable. I trusted it more than I trusted people. Now, the cold feels like a set of eyes. This story starts in northern Minnesota, kind of place where the snow stays untouched from December to March. The lakes freeze so solid you can hear the ice crack like thunder miles away. I'd guided winter treks there for almost 15 years, but that December, something in the forest had changed. It was a 4-person group to couples from Chicago and a college student named Hannah. They wanted the quiet wilderness experience. I don't think they understood what real quiet is. There's silence, then there's Minnesota winter silence. Kind where your ears ring because there's nothing else for them to do. The kind where even the trees stop moving as if something told them to hold still. The kind where your breath feels too loud. We reached the old ranger cabin by late afternoon, a squat wooden structure older than it looked. I'd slept there dozens of times, but that evening the air inside felt wrong, heavy. Thick like cold syrup. Not empty, filled with something waiting. There were carvings on the inside of the door. I'd noticed them years before. Old Ojibwa symbols, eyes. Dozens of them, all staring inward. Back then, I thought it was graffiti. Now, I'm not so sure. Night the wind died suddenly, not gradually. Just cut off. Everyone else was asleep, but I woke up instantly. It was like the silence hit my body. And then I heard it tap slow. Deliberate. Knuckle on would tap. Closer to the wall where Hannah slept tap. Right behind her head. She whispered into the dark, Aaron, is that you? I lied, said wood contracts in the cold. Said it happens all the time, but inside every instinct I had was screaming. Because I could feel the cold outside, watching. The next morning, I checked the snow. There were no tracks, no signs of animals. Just long, dragging marks across the fresh powder. Like something tall had drifted rather than stepped. The others shrugged it off, but Hannah kept looking over her shoulder the entire hike. She said she felt like someone was walking behind her even when we were all ahead. And then came the whispering wind, except it wasn't wind. It was too steady, too intentional. It carried words almost below hearing, a mournful chanting rhythm I'd heard in stories but never believed. Something like, Enoch, Wendigo, Enoch, come, Wendigo, come. I told myself it was just mountain air moving wrong. But by the second night, I knew better. We set up camp near a frozen lake. The ice underneath groaned occasionally, deep resonant like something was moving far below. We built a large fire. I made it bigger than usual, instinctively. At around 3 in the morning, I woke up freezing. The fire was dying, and something was standing between the trees, tall, thin, wrong. At first, I thought it was a dead tree trunk, but then it moved in that way that things with too many joints move. A slow, jerking, glitching motion, and it was looking at the fire, not at me. I held my breath without meaning to, and then it inhaled. A long, ragged, greedy pull of air, like lungs dragging in breath after centuries. When it exhaled, the fire guttered like it had been starved of oxygen. Something ancient was trying to smother the heat, trying to smother us. I didn't move, couldn't. The creature tilted its head with a crack, not like bone, but like frozen branches snapping, and turned toward the tents. It took one step, and the snow didn't move. It stood outside my tent for what felt like an hour, listening, learning my breathing through the fabric, and then it whispered my name. Not correctly, not like a voice, like a memory of a voice. Oh, Aaron, dry, hungry, wrong. None of the tourists knew my name. The next morning, I found a handprint on the side of my tent. Not human, long fingers too long, pressed deeply into the fabric without tearing it. Everyone wanted to go back, but I didn't tell them what I'd seen. Just said we'd return early because of weather, but the forest had other plans. The hike back was a nightmare. Halfway to the trailhead, the trees became unnaturally still, frozen in place, no wind. It temperature dropped fast, cold like I've never felt. Then the air behind us shifted. The group turned. Nothing there. I saw it first between the birch trees. A tall silhouette, bent, hungry. Following. Every time we looked away, it moved closer. Every time we looked back, it froze. Anna whispered, "Don't acknowledge it." I don't know how she knew. Maybe she didn't. Maybe instinct is older than stories. 5 minutes later, the wind carried a voice to us, but it wasn't the creature. It was another voice, a woman, old, weak, repeating something over and over in Ojibwe, a prayer, a warning, a plea. I realized then we weren't the first group it had stalked. We were just the first still alive. By the time we reached the trailhead, I could feel something watching from between the trees. Not far, closer than breath. And when we reached the cars, the forest exhaled, like it was disappointed. I thought it was over. I thought we escaped. But legends don't work that way. Curses stick. Once the Wendigo knows your warmth, he remembers. 2 nights after returning home, I found snow on my doorstep, perfect, untouched, except for one mark, a handprint, long fingers, dripping melted frost. I called a friend to stay with me. He lasted 1 night. He said he heard something breathing outside, slow, starved, like frozen lungs pulling in the heat from inside my walls. I started hearing whispering through the vents, through the attic, through the dark spaces under the floor. Sometimes I hear cracking bones, shifting weight. Sometimes I hear my own name stretched wrong. Sometimes I hear my own voice calling from outside. And sometimes when the temperature drops below freezing, I see a silhouette at the tree line, tall, bent, starving, patient. The Wendigo doesn't rush, it doesn't stalk fast, it studies. It learns your breath, your habits, your warmth, and it waits for winter, because winter takes everything from you eventually, even your heat, even your voice, even your name. If you're still here with me, leave a comment so I know I'm not whispering alone. And if you want more whispered encounters, real sightings, winter legends, creature stories, subscribe to the Whispering Hour. It helps keep the cold out. And tonight, the cold feels very, very close.